I don't think I would have been ready to come out until I was 29 when I was. I don't think I would have been as strong. I don't think I would have felt like I had the support. When I was younger, there was a lot of negativity. Oh, he's gay, they're gay, this is gay. It was used in a negative way. And now it's not used in that same way. Or if it is, maybe it's by accident. But it's, I don't choose to get offended by too many things. I think I needed to wait until I was mature enough and strong enough to hold my own. And generally, it's been good.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Unapologaytic podcast. My name is Pierre, I'm the founder of Unapologaytic, and joining me today is Phil.
Hi.
Hello, Phil.
Hi.
So Phil is a builder, a gym rat, self-confessed gym rat, an occasional model, and more importantly, a daddy to not just a Frenchie, but a daughter. So welcome, Phil. Thanks for talking to me.
My pleasure.
So we start with the beginning. Where are you from? Where do you live?
Okay, so I currently live in the West Midlands in a place called Stoke-on-Trent. Mainly people know it because they get on a train, drive north, and travel north-south, and it always stops at Stoke-on-Trent. But nobody gets off at Stoke-on-Trent. It's a place everyone's like, oh, I kind of know where that is, but they kind of just go past. It's a very sleepy, it's a city, but it's a sleepy place to live. It's away from the hustle and bustle of the big groups of partying gays in the UK. But I live here because it's close to where my family are, or where my daughter lives, where my ex-wife lives, and it's where my business is. So it's somewhere that I've just remained. I came here to be with someone, and after 9 years that didn't work, but I remained here. Yeah.
I launched Unapologetic to deal with my own shame of growing up and being gay. So can you relate to the shame of being either gay or feeling different?
Okay, so I came out late. I came out when I was ready. But as far as I was concerned, it was considered late. I was 29. I had been in a straight relationship for 12 years with my ex-wife, and I always knew that there was maybe something different. I guess we're all attracted to more than one person, but I was finding that I had attractions to guys and girls, but no strong attraction that made me want to change the situation that I was in. I was happily in a relationship, and it became something that was out of my control, if I'm honest. It became more of rather than a passing thought, more of an active thought, something that I couldn't get out of my head. And I felt the need that I had to act on it, and I was open and honest with my ex-wife, who is an amazing person still, and I felt more of a guilt that she needed to find somebody that could see being with her forever. And unfortunately, I felt at that time that there was a part of me that had to explore who I was, and that the path that I needed to explore was going to take me away from that relationship. So she is thankfully very happy with her partner that she's been with now for longer than we were together now, I think. And my daughter has a sister, and it's kind of all worked out for the best. We've not really had a rocky road. It's all worked okay. That's my perspective.
That's amazing.
That's my perspective. I kind of got an easy ride. It wasn't at the time, of course. It's difficult to end any relationship for any reason other than something bad, because there was no bad. It was just a transition and something that just had to happen at the time. And we've spoken, and she considered that we had a good relationship, which I'm pleased with. We don't have any bad feeling, and we've both moved on in our own ways, and we both fully support each other as well, which is quite good. So, and being parents have a daughter, I think that's worked out amazingly, and as only we would hope. So yeah, so it's turned out okay. There's not been a lot.
I'm really pleased.
On that side.
I'm really pleased for you. Well done.
Yeah. I know it's not the same for everybody. I know, I think maybe the fact that we had openness and honesty even from through going through my change, meant that she didn't have any reason to dislike me, other than the fact that it wasn't going to be what we hoped it was always going to be.
Yeah.
But that sometimes is just the case. And yeah, I think that's why we remain really, really good friends. So
yeah,
good.
Yeah. I'm also really good friends with my ex-husband, and he was. My situation is not like yours, but what I can relate to is the fact that even though that's not what we signed up for, but in the process, we still managed to treat each other the best way we could. And that made a huge difference.
Yeah. I think that does make a big difference, because ultimately, if you do wrong by somebody, they're not going to like you very much. If you do the best that you can, and there's the genuineness to what you are, and everybody is sort of empathetic with situations that they can't change, you just have to move forward, and it's difficult to dislike somebody if they're honest with you. So.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to it takes time though to sort of lick your wounds, but I'm glad you're out of that.
I'd agree. I guess when I started to change the relationship, it was going to be a change to my life. So of course I found it very difficult to be unhappy with that change, but I did feel the guilt for making that change.
Yeah, me too.
It was a change.
Oh God, yeah.
It was a change I never wanted to make. I happily got married, and I was happily where I was. But if there's a part of you that just says, "Hang on, something isn't right," and it's something monumental, such as who you want to be in a sexual relationship with, you can't ignore it. Ignoring it's the wrong thing to have done. So
definitely.
Yeah.
And how old were you when you came out to yourself?
It was a fast process, because I had no experience before I came out to my ex-wife. So it was less than a year before that, because we had a daughter in the year before that, and I don't know. I've tried to analyse lots of things. I don't know if that was some sort of trigger, like a reality check. She was wanted. She is still wanted. She's beautiful, but she was always planned, and there was future plans that had to be changed because of the situation. But it was like a whirl. It was like a bolt out of the blue, like a realization. It was like, oh my God, what is happening? Like, how, to the point of like subconscious dreams and things. And so that was less than a year before that. I would say it was literally about 6 months. I'm not the kind of person that keep their opinions to themselves, and I mean that in a positive
especially for something so big.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know. I don't understand, and I sympathise with people who have to bury their feelings for a long time. I don't know how I could do that. I mean, my marriage, I actually worked away for a long time during my marriage, for days and days, and we lived near a gay club, and I worked in and around London and Soho a lot, and it was never anything that really occurred to me. It was never anything that was kind of like something that was a niggle that, a scratch that needed itching. It was only when it became a problem and it was the guilt. It was the oh my God, I don't think I'm in the right relationship for her as well as for me. So that was only probably about maybe, I don't know, 6 to 8 months before I actually did come out. And even when I came out, I didn't know what was happening, because nothing had ever happened before with anyone. So I literally didn't know where this was going or how it would pan out. And that was a big worry, and a conversation I had with my ex-wife, because I said, I think I have these feelings and these desires, but I honestly don't know. I don't know. I didn't know if I was just gonna like freeze or just not be able. That was my biggest fear, actually. It was like, well, what if I make this monumental change and then it's the wrong decision? You know, and then I've made, you know, and you know, a family member of mine said I almost need to find out without being open and honest, and that was against any morals that I'd ever had. So that I can't. I just, however this goes, I just need to be honest. So that's what I did. And then when I had my first experience, it was kind of shared with not completely, of course, they don't need to know details, but you know, when it happened, it was shared with my ex-wife, and she was supportive, like unbelievably supportive, which I just think goes to show what kind of person she is. And then we just moved forward from that and dealt with problems that we had with the fallout of a marriage breakup in our family. Which I'm sure you had that as well.
Yeah. When I realized that it was the end of the marriage, I had a panic attack. Actually,
did you? I'm not surprised.
Yeah, when I realized that life as I knew it then was never going to be the same again, I had a panic attack. You know, just realizing everything that was ahead of me. You know, like telling everybody, telling the in-laws. And the guilt of breaking someone's heart.
Do you know, I think I probably went through more turmoil than I realised at the time. I know that subconsciously I was doing strange things. So I had one experience where I was out with one of my friends and we went to a gay bar. And I remember being told afterwards that I just wanted to take my clothes off. And I think that was symbolic of just trying to shed the person that I was showing people. And she said to me, like, what are you doing? Like, she'd known me for a long time. She'd known me for 13 years. She's like, what are you doing? And I said, I didn't know what I was doing. It was like trying to break out of the person that I was, I think. I think that's the only way that I can sort of describe it. I don't remember it being a conscious thing. I remember just feeling like I just need to just change and just become a different person. And I think that was a subconscious thing as well. You know, the worry that I was having these subconscious thoughts and acting this way, which was not a conscious decision. It was like, good God, something is going to come here and it's going to change a lot for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's good to remember those moments because, it just shows how we cope in those moments.
Yeah.
And are you out to your colleagues because you're a builder? So what's it like to be a gay builder?
It's fun for me. I guess because I am so open and happy and proud of who I am now. I don't find it difficult in the profession that I'm in. So it's my own business. I have a number of contractors that I deal with all the time. And we just generally laugh about life, really. We don't take anything too seriously. You know, when I come across people who are outside of my immediate circle, like suppliers and other companies that I deal with, I don't hide it from them. Like, I remember actually being on my phone at the counter of the electrical merchant, and there was one guy behind the counter who said at the time he'd only just got to know me, and he said, and I didn't realise he was waiting for me to pay, and I just said, and he said, oh, what are you doing? Are you looking at pictures of fans? Are you looking at pictures of women? And I said, no, it's not my thing. I'm flicking through Instagram. I said, I'm queer. Like, I'm not looking at that. They went, oh, so you're looking at pictures of the other then? And we just laughed about it. And I was like, well, yeah, that's more accurate, yeah. And I just think because I am kind of, it's unexpected when people find out that I'm gay, and that I am very open about it. It maybe puts people at ease a bit easier. They're easy. They find it easy to just deal with me because I'm kind of mocking myself more than anything. I'm not a very serious person when it comes to life in general. I just want people to be happy, and I am always conscious when there's people that I don't know clients, customers, and people in general, people at the gym that you get talking to and things. I am very open about who I am because I don't want to go down a route that makes anyone uncomfortable when the realization is something different.
Yeah.
So I've only had a couple of instances with clients where I've had to kind of go, hang on, they don't know I'm gay. And I'm talking about my daughter and I'm talking about my ex-wife and I'm portraying this, heterosexual guy. And I have to kind of say to myself, hang on, you're going to have to put something in the conversation somewhere. Like, you're now in a same-sex relationship. It only has to be something as simple as that. People go, oh, okay, cool. It doesn't have to be like anything more than that. But and it's a shame that you feel like you have to do that. But I am also, like I say, I'm conscious of not creating a difficult situation because I do work for myself. I spend time with people. I spend weeks with people sometimes when I'm doing a project, and people get to know me very well. I get to know them very well, and a lot of people become friends. They're not a client. I do a job. I move on. They become friends, and then they'll have me back to do other work, and they'll recommend me to other people. And what I do for my business, it's very personal. You're in people's houses; they need to feel comfortable with you. And just generally, I find it quite positive. People are inquisitive. People are inquisitive because I think it's easy to think that sometimes we just have problems to deal with, but also I personally feel like I have it's my responsibility to educate people as well, to kind of educate people to think that, or to realize that, the spectrum of gay or queer is huge, For me, just a couple of weeks ago, one guy said to me, well, you're like the least gay person that I could imagine. I was like, well, no, I'm pretty gay. I am gay, if we're going to class, I am. But I think it's just not what he expected. I think he expected a drag queen or somebody who maybe is effeminate or somebody that is just so different to him that he wouldn't be able to relate. And it's that realization to me. They also educate me in how strong you should be able to be about being gay, because there's not been a lot of negativity really, certainly around work or parents in the playground or the parents of children, or for me it's not a huge thing. I think 10 years ago it was different, and I do see that things are different. Maybe I think that it's more of a deal than it is, but the society as a whole these days is generally accepting. They might not always agree deep down, but they kind of have to accept.
I think. I live in a very accepting place. I live in the gay capital of the UK, so it's different. So it's a microclimate here. But and also I think we're cis men, so that plays a lot in the. It's not the same, I think, for trans people.
Absolutely
right
not.
now, or even non-binary. They have a very different experience from what I hear.
Yeah, just fighting to be equal is like a daily struggle, I imagine, for people who want to express themselves in the way that they want to express themselves, which may not be in a conventional way. Where I live, just being, it's a very kind of industrial town, but there is, and people do still use terminology for lots of different things where it doesn't sit well with me.
It's not right.
No. And I think acceptance and not getting any negativity from that is as good as I can expect. But actually, I get more than that because I think the circles that I move in and the way, what I do, and I find it easy. I do find it reasonably easy. But, deep down, these people still might think, oh, yeah, you're such a queer. Just, you don't know what negativity people are in the back of the head that they're fighting with. But I do think that if I was a different appearance, or I spoke a different way, or just my characteristics were different, I can imagine people do have real, struggles, have a lot to deal with. And I do
Yeah.
think that must
I also think that, by the way we are, is not really threatening to people. As in, they still see us as men, unlike trans people.
yeah.
Once again, that's only what I think. Maybe I'm wrong, but
No, I
that's
think no,
that's how I relate to that.
I think you're
That's how I
right.
explain it.
It's funny because I think the experiences that I have is that people don't see me as a threat at all. I mean, and I'm talking about kind of with partners and stuff as well. So of course I go into people's houses. They're heterosexual couples, and like the guy sometimes is kind of like this. Oh, you're here, my wife, and talking to my wife, and they haven't got any worries with me. I'm not interested. And I sometimes
I'd rather talk to you.
exactly. Well, it's funny because sometimes I have these conversations, and the guys will kind of like be all butch and alpha, and I'll kind of joke with the woman and say, oh, "He's so butch, isn't it? Like, isn't it? Must be great having such a butch husband, who's so heterosexual." And then the lady might say, "Oh, he does wear pink sometimes, or he does," and I'm like, "Okay." Like, so they sort of have a
Whatever.
joke, whatever. Yeah. Well, sometimes people will say things like, "Oh, do you not fancy me?" But they think that you automatically fancy them because they're a guy and you're gay, and I'm like, "You're not my type. I'm sorry." They kind of sometimes
That's
they feel
that's
offended.
what I wanted to ask you. So, because sometimes some straight guys approach me and they start really sort of saying, "Oh yeah, sometimes I have fantasies with men and this and that." Does that happen to you, or do you get hit on by customers?
Um, Not quite that blatant, and I think that might be because of where I am. Because but I have in the past, a long time ago, there was somebody that opened up to me and said about that it was, and I think it was a real struggle he was going through. Um, but as far as I'm aware, I'm not in contact with him anymore. And he was saying things like that and did go into graphic detail about things that he thought about, and kind of like, if I remember him saying, if I was gay, you're the kind of guy that I would like. And I was like, okay. I was thinking, but you don't know me. You don't really know me. I know that's, you could take that as a
But it's
compliment.
not about you; it's about him, really.
Yeah. I think, and also his thought processes were kind of telling him that he would be interested in somebody who was maybe a more of a masculine kind of character, um,
Yeah.
or what you would class as a conventional heterosexual guy that just happens to be gay. And I think that was kind of like some reason why, but we never explored anything. We never, there was no, and I just said to him, well, and I'd kind of mock him a lot. As, maybe if you get to the gym a bit more and look after yourself a bit more, and and he was kind of like,
You should drop the soap.
he was like, he was kind of offended a little bit that I didn't automatically find him so attractive. I'd have to do something with him. I was like, no, I might be doing you a
It's
favour.
not that kind of builder.
No, and I might have been doing you a favour to help. And I actually did think at the time, when I was in a straight relationship, if I needed to find that experience, I would love to actually help somebody come out, because I had such a great experience with the first guy that I went with that was obviously life changing, and I remember thinking, this is a pivotal moment. This is make or break. This could make a significant. Imagine the first experience being horrific.
Yeah.
How awful that must be if your life literally depends on which direction it's going. And I did remember thinking for this guy, and I was kind of like, well, I wasn't available at the time. I was in a monogamous relationship, as I always am. Not always in a relationship, but always monogamous. You know, I am happily in a monogamous relationship, but at the time I wasn't available. And I don't know if he was even ready to explore. And as I say, I know that he's now gone on to marry and have a child and kind of go down a route that I'd previously done. Um, and I just said to him, I remember saying to him, just think about your decisions, and you live once, and you're not changing that. But you can make other changes, you can make other decisions that affect your happiness and those around you. So yeah,
Yeah, and at least here it's not illegal. There are so many countries where
Oh my
You can't even, you can't even talk to anybody because
yeah.
you might be arrested, killed. I mean, it's
It
horrible.
just seems so like because we are able to be in the most of the circumstances completely ourselves. I would be. It actually kind of gives me goosebumps to think that anybody is not able to express who they are, or just even hold a person's hand of who they
Yeah,
want to be
yeah,
with. Can you imagine
yeah,
how horrific that must be? And
yeah,
it's enraging to think that that even exists.
yeah. But even, I mean, something as random or something I take for granted. For example, accessing the websites of gay brands.
Yeah,
In some countries, that's impossible.
yeah. It's crazy, isn't
Can
it?
you imagine?
Well,
Even before you do anything with anyone, you can't even go online.
there is still something just like an undertone to society that's kind of like gay equals wrong. And the reason why I say
Yeah.
that is that very recently, I sell my old clothes. I sell, I love to buy clothes. I've got a lot of clothes and I don't just want to throw them away. So the old clothes get sold. And I tried to sell through eBay and Vinted and different places. And recently, a lot of my clothes were being deleted. And I was being told that it was inappropriate. And it wasn't inappropriate. They were just being listed. And I know the rules and the guidelines very clear. And the lady on the phone, and it did get me really enraged. I was ringing them to say, why do you keep removing these posts? And she said, well, the title says gay interest. And I said, I'm really sorry, but you cannot remove something because it says gay interest. Like, there are certain people that find comfort in buying items that are classed as gay interest because they may have been from a gay person, and that may be assisting somebody to deal with the situation that they're in.
Yeah.
I said, but the guidelines, things are being sold, and I said, you absolutely cannot categorically tell me, and you are saying it down the phone, we remove it because it was flagged because you had it down as gay interest. And I thought that was like a real reality check for me, thinking,
Yeah.
that's outrageous. That is outrageous. And like I say, there was nothing else that was provocative. There was just a t-shirt or a pair of gym shorts or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was outraged by it.
A few years ago, there's a customer of mine who was wearing the homo T-shirt, the
Yeah,
one,
yeah.
the
The
one
blue
you
one.
model.
Yeah.
So he was walking, I think, on one of the beaches in Devon,
Yeah.
and one couple walked past him and shouted some abuse at him.
Wow. I find it really hard to understand how somebody can have such a strong feeling about something that's so private about somebody. But
Yeah,
I mean, it's a public display of who you are, and and it shows your character because you're not hiding anything. You're just being there. Do you know what I mean? And it's
yeah,
your brand is just raises a smile. Every single thing that you sell is like the daddy things, and the t-shirt, the white t-shirt I've got, where it's kind of like Neanderthal man to
yes,
a guy in boots, like who's just who's like sassy, and whenever you wear it, people smile, and that's what it's about. Like it's clever, it's tongue in cheek, it's it is promotion, and that's why can we have brands that are just like emblazoned with a name across? I've got Jim King, and like you can have this, and that's perfectly fine. But something like that, somebody feels the need to shout something at somebody else because of what they're wearing. Like it's just like it just goes to show that we're not there. We're not in
yeah,
the position. Like that person couldn't even hold the tongue would stop themselves from verbally abusing somebody because of what they
yeah,
chose to wear.
yeah,
And that person, like, the person shouting the verbal abuse could be doing lots of things that are wrong, legally, morally, but the person wearing a
yeah,
t-shirt is just wearing a t-shirt and gets abused. Outrageous.
yeah. That's terrible. And
Outrageous.
in my opinion, it also shows that that's why we still need pride parades, and that's why the
Absolutely.
fight. Yeah, I think it's really a fight. It's not over yet. Far from it.
No, it's not. I think
Especially when you see all the abuse that trans people are getting. It's definitely not over. And as
yeah,
a gay man, I really feel that, I need to do everything I can to help.
Yeah. I really think that, I do fly the flag, and I do, I am happy to talk to anybody about not anything, but, not to a certain point. But yeah, you're right. Yours is about promotion and positivity, but it is a fight, and it shouldn't be. But
Yeah.
there are fights in race, and there are fights, things that are being said by the American politicians, things talking about that, transgender and should be outlawed, and it's outrageous. Like how these people can stand up and not be arrested for saying these kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, what the UK politicians are saying is not bad either.
Yeah.
So, that is horrible.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, it's not just horrible, it's dangerous.
Yeah. It is dangerous. Yeah. It's inciting hatred. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Inciting
exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a link between working out for you and your mental health?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I've always gone to the gym as a heterosexual guy or as a gay guy. But I find it very, I think it's just the feeling of self-improvement. Because to me, how I look directly makes me feel good, and how I look in a mirror. We can talk about sort of like metaphorically looking in the mirror and looking into ourselves and all this, which is what we all do. We see that. I think it's important to be comfortable to look in a mirror.
Yes.
I do. I absolutely do. I battle with myself if I go to the gym too much or too little. I see friends. Some people go to the gym more than others. Some people's mental health are affected by going to the gym too much or too little. And I think we all have to find our own balance about where that is. I know that if I sometimes don't have the motivation to go, but I start in a bit of a downward spiral, because then you feel like you're not going to be capable of doing what you did before, and you're therefore going to feel worse. It's again, it's one of our own battles, I guess. And I know that when I was straight relationship, and I was more attracted to guys that had muscular physiques, because to me, the epitome of my attraction to a guy is the masculinity of them, the conventional masculinity of them, of a sort of a gym goer. But then, since I've been out and had experience dealing with people that are kind of in that character, in this sort of like larger than life character, gym rat kind of environment, some of those people aren't the right people to be around always. So it doesn't take away from the fact of who the people are, but aesthetically, it is something that I find important. My partner is a big gym goer, more than me. We battle about the gym. We battle about how much we go to the gym and how often we go to the gym and what we do at the gym. Not significantly, but it is probably one of our only ongoing battles. But we're both very passionate about the gym. And it's funny because you see things that are on Instagram about kind of like, you don't realise these people are having their own battles. You just see somebody at the gym working out, and you think that they're just vain, and you think that they're just. But for me, I'm not vain. I don't spend my life looking immaculate and all this, but I do want to feel good about myself. That is the one way I make myself feel good. So I do think that it's important for me, for my mental health.
Yeah, that's also my experience. And I think it's good to actually, look in the mirror and feel some sort of healthy pride.
Yeah.
Because as far as I'm concerned, it's quite rare for me to think something positive about myself. So,
I know, and you're a wonderful person. And you need to be told. You need to be told that. We all need to hear it sometimes. It's easy to.
Yeah, we do. We do actually.
Yeah, and again, not from a vain point of view, but sometimes we feel a bit down about ourselves in lots of different ways. And sometimes for somebody just to say, do you know what, you are a good guy. and that just really helps. That helps pick you up, So
Yeah, but it doesn't help as much as when we say it to ourselves and when we really mean it, I
yeah,
find.
yeah.
So that's why I think what I really like about the link with mental health for myself is that I can see that this is something I can do, and this is something I have been doing. So, in a way, it's a metaphor for life, because the way I see it is that if I keep showing up, as in if I keep going to the gym, if I keep doing what I want to do, then I will see results. And it's a virtuous cycle where it's something positive. I do something for myself because
Yeah,
I want to do it and because I deserve something positive.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. That I know there's a term that says that the worst gym session is the one you don't turn up for, which is true.
Yeah,
Turning up is
yeah,
it ticks a box. It releases your endorphins. It just makes you feel good. You just and yeah, you can go to the gym, and sometimes there's bigger guys in there. There's guys that you want to look like, and there's this and that. But we all have to understand we're all on our own journey, and we're all,
yeah,
you know, you spend so much time looking at other people and aspiring to be something else. You're not realizing how many people would aspire to be you, and you have
yeah,
to remind yourself that actually you're on this journey somewhere way ahead of where somebody else is, where a lot of people are. So you're also inspiring other people, and it's strange because there's a few people said that over the last couple of years when I've really focused on my training with the PT, and I've become a lot more committed to it rather than me just going to the gym. I didn't feel that was working for me anymore. I wasn't seeing the results, so therefore it wasn't helping my mental health because I felt like I was wasting my time. So, but over the last couple of years, there's a couple of my friends that'll say, "You're my inspiration," and you're like, that is just incredible to
what
hear
a nice
because
thing to hear.
yeah,
Yeah.
because that's
Mm.
accidental. I don't go to the gym to be someone's inspiration. I'm not, I don't promote that I know everything about fitness and health and all that. I have guidance from someone else. I pay someone else to tell me what to do. But for somebody else to say that you're my inspiration because you go and you know it, it that is a positive. That is
Yeah.
a positive.
Another thing I quite like doing is not so much to compare myself to others, because that never goes well, but it's just to look back and just see how much progress I've done,
Yeah, how far
really,
you've come. Yeah,
in the last few months, years, whatever.
yeah.
That's quite something
It's funny
positive.
because even on a daily basis, you can look in a mirror and you can look at yourself and say, "Don't look like I used to." And then a couple of days later, you might look at yourself and go, "Actually, I don't look too bad." And then a couple of days later, you can remind yourself that actually there's peaks and troughs to going and
Yeah,
doing what you do and how your body reacts to different things. And but gradually and generally, you're getting better and better. And just having
yeah,
faith in what you're doing is good for your mental health. But you do have to. When I, it's always interesting when I meet somebody that I've not seen for a long time, or an old school friend or an old colleague, and people go like, "Wow, you've changed," and you forget that you have changed that much.
mm.
It's yeah, I do. I find it very important for me. It's a big part of my life.
Yeah. No, and it does show, really. So on your Instagram bio, you said that you do a bit of modeling, and
Yeah,
I can attest of that because we've taken some photos together already.
yeah.
What decided you to model?
Okay, approaching 40 years old made me want to. So I'm 44 this year, and before I became when I first came out, I was in okay shape, and I spent sort of 10 years going to the gym, just kind of muddling along. And then I suddenly started to see some changes that I was really happy with. And as I've said before, you live once, and I think you have to catch a moment, and you have to. I have a motto that you should regret what you do rather than regret what you don't. So if you have an opportunity to do something, do it. Do it once. You don't like it, you don't do it again. But it might be the most fun, enjoyable, you know, self-fulfilling thing that you ever do. And I
Yeah,
found that I just loved it. And I think it came from, um, again, not really looking at a picture of myself and being pleased with what I saw. And then when I went, I had the first photographer, first shoot, which like I say was back in 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Yeah, 6 years ago. I couldn't believe what the pictures looked like. Oh my God, wow, I never thought I would look like that. And then I then had another photo shoot a couple of years later when I got myself into even better shape. And then I obviously had the photo shoot with you last year.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
last year, yeah.
Yeah.
It was obviously to collaborate to promote your brand as well as have some photographs done myself, which were amazing. And you managed to get me into a publication that was just like, you don't realise how fun that was as well. And since then, it's always on my mind because I just think it's like an alter ego. It's just something different, fun, and I do it for myself. As however that sounds to anybody, I do it for myself. I just think it's fun.
Have you always been comfortable showing
Okay.
some skin, or
Well, since I came out, yes. Before that, it was never anything that really occurred to me. So I think I grew in confidence when I came out. And then since I've been happier with my shape, yeah, I mean, I'm very confident. I mean, I know we did some naked photos, and I've done some naked photos before, and yeah, I think it's more about capturing that time, and not that those photos have been used for anything other than personal, use. It's just, I don't know where I get that confidence from, to be honest.
Yeah,
because it's not. I wouldn't have said before. Oh, I've always been super confident. I think it's just the attitude of kind of like, well, just do it. What's the worst that could happen? And it's never been that negative. So
no, that is a very nice attitude actually, because I've never done it myself, but no,
have you not?
Never.
You must do it. You
well,
must.
I look better behind the camera, so that's why.
That can't be sitting. No. We need to change the mentality with that.
So with regard, so now since you've come out, have you got yourself a gay anthem?
A gay anthem. Well, my music taste is definitely gay, but in all honesty, my music taste has always been a little bit gay anyway. So I used to like steps, and I used to like a lot of pop music.
You've
and
always
things like
been
that
gay,
when I was straight. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I did try to be in a band in school, which was a rock band. That didn't really work. That wasn't really me. That was me trying to do something again, maybe, and it just didn't work. My anthems are normally breakup anthems.
All right. So what's your favorite one?
Madonna, sorry.
All right.
Yeah, Beyonce, Irreplaceable. Kelly Clarkson, Since You've Been Gone. They're the three. Nice. And they are strong anthems. Also, I love Adele. I mean, she's moaning about things all the time, isn't she? But I love Adele. But I don't know. I got to a point where I couldn't listen to Adele anymore because it reminded me of an old relationship. But yeah, so when I do find that music takes you back to a place of either obviously positivity or of a bad time. But yeah, no, I've got some anthems, but not kind of like they're the ones. They tend to be a little bit more melancholy.
Yeah, my favorite songs are usually like chill out, this kind of electro chill, these kind of things. So I can definitely relate to that. And
well, I'm kind of exploring more music as well. So last weekend I went to Madrid and went to Afterlife, which was like an electronic evening, just like something I've never done before. Just being in that environment and it just being chilled and just timeless and it was like a journey. It was crazy. It was crazy. But I mean, I like all types of music. I don't say there's a music that I dislike, but if I want something to sing to, me and my daughter will stick The Greatest Showman on, and we'll belt out all the anthems.
Oh, that's nice.
This is me. This is me. Is like, I actually remember we went to see The Greatest Showman, and my daughter doesn't know this. My daughter's here, but my daughter doesn't know this. I actually had to leave the cinema because I was so overwhelmed by the song. I was just, and it gives me goosebumps now. It was just so anthemic and fitting, and just like what everybody should have in the back of their minds about who they are. And
it did sound like a queer anthem, really. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, completely. So, yeah,
and
great.
Could you recommend a queer show or book, podcast?
Well, the only thing, I don't really read a lot or listen to a lot. I watch a lot of things that are sort of on Netflix and things like that, but nothing that's particularly just aimed at queer or gay. What was that? Recently, I watched that Bros film.
What did you think?
Which I thought it was quite good. Obviously, I did think there was quite a strong moral connotation to it, an undertone of don't judge a book by its cover and all of this. But also, I actually took my daughter to see that, which some of the points in that were a little bit, pushing boundaries and educating.
How old is your daughter?
She's 15. She's 15. Yeah. And that film would kind of educate anyone to watch, I think, because it does kind of epitomise a lot that happens in gay culture. And as I say, it's not easy being gay all the time. And I think that all of those scenarios and situations that are shown in that film happen, and we all know them. If anyone's single, wanted to date, wanted to go on apps or anything, we've all experienced those situations, which, I do think it's a good film. I do think it's got a place, and I think it's helped. But then also, actually, I say that I haven't got a recommendation, but I love Priscilla, Queen of the
Desert. I love that movie as well. Oh, yeah, I love it.
Well, I was gutted because I was asked to be in the show.
No.
So there was locally, but it was just before COVID, and we were due to go on stage in June. As lockdown happened in March, everything was stopped, and we'd rehearsed all the moves. Originally, I thought I was just going to stand there as a Muscle Mary and let girls adore you and dance around when it sings Raining Men. It turns out that we were part of the whole production. It was me and my ex-partner, and I found it, again, just do it. What's the worst that can happen? It was amazing. I loved it. And then the show got canned because of COVID. And then because of the schedule the theatre had, it never happened. So I was gutted. But
is there any way you can get back into some sort of similar stuff?
I don't know really, because I was only kind of put forward because of one of my other friends that was one of the lead roles. But I really appreciated it. We went for the interview, the audition, and we kind of got the role, got given the role. We didn't really realise. We're like, so have we got the role? Is that it? They're like, yeah, you've got the part.
So what's next?
But we're just us. Yeah, what happens? It was like, we'll see you next Sunday for rehearsals. And it was just crazy. It was just a crazy situation. But I loved it. And I would love to do it again, because I just think, I kind of feel like I'm 44 times ticking, and I just wanted to experience as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
So
that's a very nice approach to life, really, being sort of curious and playful.
Yeah, just seize the moment. I've always said carpe diem, just seize the day, just do whatever makes you happy, providing you're not hurting people, you're not doing any harm. So,
and what's your idea of embracing who you are? Because that's Unapologaytic's tagline. So
Yeah. I think, do you know what? And this sounds really cheesy, but I think you do. You just have to be unapologetically you. Like you're not doing anything wrong. You're just trying to live your life. You just want to be happy and achieve what you want to achieve, and be who you want to be. Like you nobody's doing anything wrong. We're not doing anything wrong by just being who we are, and like we're here, we're queer, and we're just
we are out loud
who
and
we
proud.
are. Like, yeah, absolutely, own it. Just and this is where I admire kind of trans and drag, and for the confidence that they have, and it's often kind of like two-sided, isn't it? They have extreme confidence when they are in drag and on stage and doing that kind of thing, but then actually inside they've probably got the biggest demons and the biggest issues and the biggest problems and the biggest things to overcome. And it's like they literally have alter ego and two personas, and that, like, the strength that some people must have to do that is just incredible. But yeah,
I really think that people who are camp or effeminate, they have in my opinion, they have the most courage, because, for example, I mean, it's quite easy for me because, I'm not that camp. I mean, I don't see myself as super butch, but I don't see myself as really camp, as gay as I am. And so, it's easy for me because I sort of blend in and I'm quite discreet. But for people who are really effeminate or who are very camp, then because they stand out really, and in terms of in gay culture, even they're penalized for being camp. So that's the courage I think they have, really.
Yeah, because I've never had any negativity about the way that I carry myself or my kind of persona and what people would classify as being a gay guy. And I think, but this is just me. This is just who I am. I'm the same person that I was when I was in a heterosexual relationship. I just choose to be with a guy now. But I know when I think back to kind of people in school, the people that even some straight guys are quite camp. And people will joke and say, well, he's not gay. And it's almost like, for me, it's almost like, how can he not be gay? Because he's very camp. And the assumption that somebody is, because they're camp, they're gay. It's quite funny. It's quite amusing. But I guess it's a case of you can't judge a book by its cover. You just don't. You don't know what somebody is, or we're all different shapes and sizes. And I guess if you have an effeminate character or nature, you are probably conscious of it a lot more than we're conscious of who we are, because we can just go about our daily business, like you say, and slip under the radar and just be who we are without kind of giving off an aura that other people cannot ignore. And I think that's probably where, like I say, when I do empathise with people where they do have a daily battle. I don't have a daily battle. I can go about my business and I can choose to talk about who I am and what I am without it being immediately obvious to anybody. But I understand that I've got a good deal. I've got an easy ride from that point of view.
Even though we still have to come out, almost every day, I guess. Because especially in your case, when people assume that because you have an ex-wife and you have a daughter and stuff like that, it's always the same principle where you say, well, actually, I'm not straight.
Yeah. I mean, I was married to my ex-wife. I then got married to a guy who I was with for 9 years as well. That didn't work out, but it was 9 years. Some things don't work out. But yeah, it's kind of like people just kind of mock me and say, what's next? And I'm like, I don't know. Married to a woman, married to a man, I don't know. I can marry myself. I don't know, marry my phone, or you do whatever you want these days. Or just don't get married again. It's fine. It's it's whatever
maybe
you
try
want to
something
do.
different for once. Don't get married.
Don't get married. One of my friends says the reason why I get married so much is because I like cake.
Who doesn't like cake?
Exactly, yeah, that's very true.
So where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram. People that I don't physically meet don't get accepted onto my Facebook. I keep my Facebook for people that I have actually physically met. I may chat to on Instagram and things. They may send a friend request on Facebook. But on Instagram, I am at, what am I? At Build a Gym Guy 79.
And how do you handle attention on social media?
I guess with grace. So if somebody sends a nice comment, they always get a thank you. I don't tend to engage in lots of conversations with people that I haven't historically connected with. So I've been on social media for only a couple of years, really. And I've made lots of friends on social media. And, you know, when you go to parties, when you go to cities, it's nice to meet those people. When they happen to be in your local area, you get to meet those people and they become genuine friends. The acquaintances that are on Instagram are appreciated. Instagram is about, you know, displaying yourself and getting to know people. And I always appreciate that. I don't see social media as being a negative thing in my life because it's just controlled by it is what it is. But I know that it can be destructive if you're not in a situation where it's controlled within the boundaries of where you are. So me and my partner both have our Instagram. We don't sort of pour over each other constantly and constantly promote ourselves or promote each other. We just live our life and we're both a bit goofy. And it is just hopefully for enjoyment of the audience that see you. But as I say, I've met and connected with some brilliant people. I've got one friend who couldn't live further away, lives in Sydney, who is one of the greatest people, who was quite a recent friendship. But without social media now, I don't know how we would stay in contact. So I truly see the benefit of people who are further away. And where I am and where I live, I am away from the big party scenes, and it keeps me connected with other people. So handling comments and things, people on my Instagram are generally quite respectful because otherwise I don't really engage with them. It's not Grindr. In my opinion, it's not. I have quite strong moral views about what I consider, quite heterosexual views, I guess, about what I consider to be acceptable behaviour from people. And the people that know me know that and respect that. I enjoy it. You know, I get a reminder on my phone, this week you've spent 2 hours more on social media than last week, or this week you spent 2 hours less. And so I've got constant reminders. But yeah, it's a part of my life, but it's not
like everything is about finding a balance, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So, thank you so much for the interview and for chatting to me. Was there anything you wanted to share? Anything else?
No, not really. No, that's all good. It's been enjoyable. It's nice to open up and give somebody else's perspective of who you are, what you've been through, your experience. Life's tough. Life is generally tough for most people.
Especially right now.
We all have, we all have battles every day, different kinds of battles. We all choose to get support from different people. We all have to just lift each other up. Because it's easy to get bogged down and see negatives, and I just think you generally have to look at the positives and remind yourself we are alive, and being gay in the world today is quite a positive thing and supportive thing. You know, we do have the law on our side. You know, if people do display negative attitude towards us, it's not acceptable. And I think that is a good thing. I don't think I would have been ready to come out until I was 29 when I was. I don't think I would have been as strong. I don't think I would have felt like I had the support. You know, when I was younger, there was a lot of negativity. Oh, he's gay, they're gay, this is gay. It was used in a negative way. And now it's not used in that same way. Or if it is, maybe it's by accident. But it's, you know, I don't choose to get offended by too many things. I think I needed to wait until I was mature enough and strong enough to hold my own. And generally, it's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, generally, it's...
Yeah, and, you know, things happen when you're ready, they say.
Absolutely, yeah. Can't force things. They need to just naturally, organically change.
I came out when I was 16 and a half. But it doesn't mean that, you know, until now, I've been dealing with shame. So it's not just about coming out, really.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, we can all, you know, deal with shame in different periods of our lives, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being so honest. Thank you.
Pleasure.
And I look forward to our photo shoot.
Yes,
Take care.
me too.
See you again
me
soon.
Too.
Bye.
You
Thank
too.
everyone
Take
for
care.
watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you.